and welcome, families. My name is Miss
Hello
Mara,
and
and I'm
welcome,
excited you're
families.
here today.
I'm Miss Mara,
We're
and I'm
going to
so
talk about
excited
something
you're here
that's
today.
just as
We're
important
going
as
to talk
reading,
about
writing,
something
or
that
math,
is just as
and that is
important
social
as
emotional
reading,
learning,
writing, or math, and that is
SEL, as you'll hear me
social
refer to it
emotional
throughout
learning,
this
or
presentation.
SEL.
Think of it as
Think of it
helping our
as
little
helping our
learners
little learners
understand their
understand their
feelings, get
feelings,
along with
get along
friends,
with
and
friends,
make
and
smart
make smart
choices,
choices,
all
all
while
while
having
having
fun
fun
and
and
growing their
growing their
confidence.
confidence.
Thank you for being here. Let's get ready to dive in on some practical tips, classroom stories, and maybe even a few laughs along the way. What is social emotional learning? Social emotional learning, or SEL, is all about helping students understand and manage their emotions, build positive relationships, and make responsible choices. In our classroom, this can look like teaching our students to recognize when they feel frustrated and use strategies like deep breathing or taking a short break to calm down. We do have several options in our own classroom, such as our dress up corner, where they can put on a certain color clothing object to signal the emotion they are feeling, and take deep breaths in the mirror while reading some positive affirmation cards that are provided, or doing simple exercises, whatever helps get their wiggles out. SEL is also includes showing empathy, like noticing a classmate who seems sad and is asking if they're okay, or working together in a group project while listening to each other's ideas. SEL helps students not just succeed academically, but also feel confident, connected, and ready to navigate everyday challenges in and out of the classroom. We are going to be going over some topic points of what SEL is and what they are. And with that, there is self-awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and self-management. Right, let's kick this off with self-awareness. This is all about helping kids understand what is going on inside of their own heads and hearts. Quick show of hands. How many of you have ever noticed your child's face change and suddenly you think, what's happening there? That's exactly what self-awareness helps them notice too. In our classroom, students are learning to name their emotions: happy, sad, mad, nervous, you name it. You might hear someone say, I feel nervous before a presentation, or I'm excited for our new class pet. And here's a fun way we practice that. We sometimes do a little feelings check-in where kids point to a face that is on a card that shows how they feel that day. You could try this at home as well. They're also learning to express emotions in healthy ways. Instead of hitting, yelling, or running away, they might take a deep breath, use words, or try a calming strategy. You can even practice this together. Next time your little one is feeling frustrated, ask, what is a calming way we can show that? And it's not all about feelings. Self-awareness includes recognizing strengths too. Kids can say things like, I'm good at basketball, or I know how to dress myself. We also help them notice that they're still learning or practicing, which is a huge confidence booster. And within time, they will master that skill. A quick activity idea that I would like to suggest is that you can ask your child, what is one thing that you're proud of today? It is amazing what comes out of their mouth. Trust me, I feel as a teacher, I have heard it all. Next up is responsible decision making. This is all about helping kids think before they act and make choices that are good for themselves and others. Quick show of hands again. Have you ever watched your child do something and thought, was that the best choice? In our classroom, students are learning to consider how their choices affect others. For example, imagine Sarah is upset because she really wanted the red marker. Nathan notices that and chooses to share his marker with her. That is responsible decision making in action. They're also practicing making positive choices in the moment. Instead of shouting out answers, they raise their hand. They accidentally hurt someone's feelings, like stepping on a friend's foot during a game. They learn to apologize. And when a problem pops up, maybe two kids both want the same toy, they are encouraged to solve it calmly instead of reacting impulsively. Even on the playground, responsible decision making comes into play. For example, Allison really wants to go down a slide at the same time as Josh. Instead of pushing or rushing ahead, Josh notices Allison is waiting and lets her go first. Then Allison thanks him, and they both take turns safely. That's kids noticing each other's feelings and making smart, kind choices, all while having fun. Here is a little interactive idea you could try at home. Next time your child has to make a choice, like picking a game, sharing a snack, or deciding how to react, ask them, how might this choice make someone else feel? Next, let's talk about relationship skills. Every day in our classroom, kids are learning how to work together, share ideas, and build friendships, sometimes smoothly, sometimes with a little bumper too. Those bumps, they're actually a part of learning how to get along. Students practice sharing and taking turns. For example, Maya really wants the blue paintbrush, and Liam notices and says, "You can go first." That small act of kindness makes a big difference. They're also learning to ask for help when they need it without getting frustrated. If a math problem is tricky, a student might calmly ask a friend or a teacher for guidance instead of giving up. Conflict resolution is another big part of relationship skills. Instead of hitting, yelling, or storming off, kids are encouraged to use words to solve problems. For instance, if Jordan accidentally bumps into Emma, he might say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you," and they could figure out a fair solution together. Students also practice encouraging classmates and following group rules in our class, whether it's cheering for a friend during a game or respecting someone else's personal space during a project. These small actions build a positive classroom community. Next up is social awareness. Basically, noticing and caring about what other people are feeling and thinking. In our classroom, students are learning to tune into their friends, which can lead to some thoughtful and sometimes funny moments, like when someone tries to cheer up a friend with a dramatic dance move or a very serious funny face. Kids are learning to understand differences and include classmates who might feel left out. For example, Leo is in a wheelchair, and Aisha notices he can't join a game of tag the usual way. So she suggests a new version so everyone can play. Or Margot is deaf, and a student makes sure to include her by facing her when talking and using gestures to help her participate. Small actions like these make a huge difference. They're also practicing asking questions instead of assuming. If someone looks frustrated, they might say, "Do you want help with that?" instead of guessing, "What's wrong?" And when a classmate is struggling with a task, students learn to offer help in kind ways, like saying, "I can show you how I did it," or "Let's figure it out together." I also want to share something personal. I am hard of hearing, and I express wholeheartedly the importance of inclusion and the belief that everyone belongs in our classroom. This is not just a lesson, it's a value I live by every day, and it's something I want my students to carry with them as they grow outside of our classroom. Lastly, let's talk about self management. This is all about helping kids regulate their emotions, control impulses, and stay focused, even when things don't go exactly as planned. In our classroom, we practice coping strategies all the time. Kids are learning that it's okay to take a moment to step away or to ask for help when they feel frustrated or overwhelmed. These small strategies make a big difference in helping them calm down and think clearly. Frustration happens every day. Sometimes a game doesn't go as planned, or an activity turns out harder than expected. Part of self management is learning to pause, regroup, and try again without getting upset. It's amazing to see how kids build confidence as they practice these skills, and it carries over into everything else that they do. We also focus on goal setting and following through, whether it's finishing a project, completing a task, or just sticking with something challenging. Children are learning how to set small goals and feel proud when they meet them. Even surprises or changes in plans are opportunities to practice self management. Our students are learning that it's okay to adjust, take a breath, and approach the situation calmly rather than reacting impulsively. I'd like to offer a few fun ideas and strategies that I have used in our classroom and in my own home with my 20-month-old and my 4-year-old son. One fun strategy I like to use is when my son is having a day full of big emotions. I suggest taking a stuffed animal or a squishy jelly toy and kind of just holding it in his hand, squeezing it, releasing that tension and stress, all while I'm reading him a small story. In the time frame that it takes me to read the story and him focusing that time and attention on something else, he's calmed down and he's ready to play again. Another idea is that I have my son do a countdown when he's got big emotions. He is only 4, so we count down from 5. And as he counts each number, I have him add a small movement like a wiggle, a spin, a jump, a stretch. This is a creative and playful way to help him pause and reset. You can also create your own magic words or secret signals. Let your child create a personal word, phrase, or small hand signal that reminds them to pause and think. It's so funny that sometimes I'll hear him scream chicken nugget in his bedroom while I'm in the kitchen doing dishes, and I know from that word phrase that he is frustrated about something. It's a great learning tool and it's fun. These strategies are tools your child can use anytime, whether they're frustrated, disappointed, or just feel a little overwhelmed. I encourage you to practice them together at home, and it's amazing to see how proud children feel when they realize they can handle tough moments on their own. Start with a quick question. Has anyone ever asked a child a simple question like, "What's wrong?" and gotten the answer, "I don't know," followed by tears? Yeah, I've seen that one a lot. That's exactly why SEL is such a big part of our classroom. In our class, our students learn to name their feelings and calm their bodies. I notice they're able to focus longer, stick with harder work, and feel proud when they try something new, even when it doesn't go perfectly the first time. SEL also shows up in friendships every day. Instead of big feelings turning into big problems, students are learning how to talk things through, listen to one another, and work as a team. Group work goes more smoothly, and recess, let's just say smiles are way more common than tears. One of my favorite things is how our classroom has become a place where students feel safe being themselves. Through our morning check ins and sharing circles, they know they belong here. They learn to respect each other's cultures, stories, and feelings, and they feel comfortable asking for help, taking risks, and showing up just as they are. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm running a tiny academy for feelings where every emotion gets a moment in the spotlight, but that's okay. Social emotional learning can really make a difference in kids' lives, and not just in school. One of the biggest ways is that it strengthens relationships and helps prevent bullying. When kids practice communicating, collaborating, and showing empathy, they notice when someone needs help or feels left out, and they step in. For example, a student might notice a classmate who is deaf or hard of hearing struggling to follow along in a game or group activity. They could write down instructions, use gestures, or face their friend while speaking so everyone can participate. Kids might even make up a little sign language for a game so the deaf student can join in on all the fun. These small gestures show respect and help the child feel included. SEL also encourages kids to stand up against teasing or exclusion. For instance, if someone laughs at a classmate for pronunciating a word differently, or dressing differently, or speaking another language, a student practicing SEL might say something like, "Hey, let's include everyone," or "We all learn differently, and that's okay." These moments help prevent bullying before it even starts and teaches empathy, kindness, and respect for differences. SEL also boosts focus and confidence. Kids learn how to keep trying, even when something is hard or frustrating. And the best part, these skills set them up for the future. Teamwork, problem solving, and knowing how to navigate tricky situations aren't just for the classroom, they're life skills. When kids learn to manage their emotions, work well with others, and communicate their ideas while including and respecting everyone, they're building confidence that will help them in middle school, college, careers, and beyond. It's like giving them a little toolbox for life, with the added bonus that they get to use it for good every day. Social emotional learning is such an important part of how kids grow. It's not just about talking about feelings, it's about helping our children understand themselves and others, working together, solving problems, and handle the little and sometimes big challenges that come up every day. As kids move from the early elementary years into middle school, they naturally start learning how to listen to others, see things from a friend's perspective, communicate their ideas, and work through disagreements calmly. And SEL gives them the tools to support to do all of that in ways that stick. We also know that when SEL is a part of everyday school routines, it doesn't just help kids feel good and safe at school, it helps them do better in their learning, feeling like they belong, and build skills they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. Skills like teamwork, problem solving, and managing big emotions. As parents and caregivers, you play a huge role in supporting your child's social emotional growth. If you want to learn more about SEL and how it shows up in classrooms and at home, there are some excellent resources to explore. You can read about what SEL is and why it matters at the Child Mind Institute, or see real life examples of SEL in action in elementary schools through the National Center for Safe Supportive Learning Environments. The Minnesota Department of Education also provides helpful guidance on SEL and on how schools are integrating it into everyday learning. If you're curious about the impact of SEL on children's learning and development, check out Insights from the NEA and learn how kids typically grow in SEL skills from elementary to middle school on Utopia. All of these resources are included on our next slide, so you can explore them at your own pace. Taking a little time to review these can give you ideas for supporting SEL at home and understanding how it helps your child thrive socially, emotionally, and academically. I did add at the bottom where it says podcasts and videos, a YouTube video, Learn Feelings and Emotions for Kids by Emo Me. It's a great little video for children to see. It's very short, colorful, happy. I did link that at the very bottom of the resources page as well.